There's something just quite ominous from that final sequence of the episode of Kimetsu no Yaiba. If we take a moment and just zoom out from that final scene and look past the character development, characterization that Shinobu got, we could see a woman that basically told Tanjiro that she can die in peace now. She can die now knowing that Tanjiro would carry on the mantle of what she carries on her back. For instance, wanting to look at demons in a way that could be friends, befriend demons, and not think that they're just truly needing of complete eradication. It's interesting. It's a really interesting look at her character, and like, why I say it's ominous is because the way she presents it, she's basically saying, I can die now. I can go out of my way and lay down my life without worry that what I carry will just vanish. I'm glad you can carry on my legacy. And the way she just disappears, the way the overall atmosphere from that scene is done, it really just represents one major thing, that something bad is going to happen very soon in the story. Because with all of the main, I guess, demon slayers being introduced, like the Hashiras, it's likely that there's probably going to be something major that's going to be coming about soon. Maybe for the final couple of episodes of the remainder of Demon Slayer's anime, it's going to be setting up maybe for a season 2 that is going to be a crazy arc. Whatever the case may be, though, just Shinobu's overall character at that final sequence of the episode really just gave off death flags. There was a lot of death flags from it, and I worry. I really do worry, because Shinobu is a pretty cool character. I like her voice actor. I like how she's been presented in the story. And so seeing the possibility that, you know, she could be dying very soon kind of worries me a bit, because, like I said, she's a cool character. But nonetheless, though, stopping there, let's kind of talk about what we learned, what's going to be happening going forward, and, you know, kind of the training that happened within this episode. So, first things first, to continue on with the Shinobu stuff, Shinobu basically talks to Tanjiro, giving him a pep talk, kind of revealing a little bit more about her past and how she was someone that had an older sister, and her older sister was someone that was very much like Tanjiro. She was someone that believed that not all demons are evil. Demons should be looked upon as if they were once human, and you gotta remember that is what normally is the case. Most demons that are turned into demons or whatever by Muzan, they probably are forced to be in that situation because of some form of tragedy. Now, there might be some that are very greedy and they don't care and all that, but overall, most of the demons probably are suffering just as much as, you know, the demon slayers, you know, the wounds that are inflicted on them. So it's just a cycle. It's a cycle of tragedy and sadness, and that's kind of what Shinobu's sister believed in, is that the demons also deserve pity, and they also deserve to be looked upon as if they were once human as well. And maybe there is some demons we can actually befriend. But that's the point here, is that the sister, even though she was very much like Tanjiro, it took her to her grave. Because of how much faith she believed in the demons, how she was as an individual, people might view her as very naive, and she died. And even in her dying breath, she still believed that demons could be friends to demon slayers, or humans in the first place, and Shinobu had to watch her only sister die in her arms. You gotta imagine from that perspective of how cruel that is, how sad it is, a kid her age, even if she's like, you know, no matter the age, honestly, just having your loved one die in your arms would definitely be horrific. Nothing else can really describe probably that pain. So when you see that moment, Shinobu says she obviously had to carry on the mantle of her sister. She's like, because of my sister's passing, what she believed in, who she was, I needed to carry on her objective, her dream. Because if I didn't, then everything she believed in would die with her. So Shinobu, not really believing in the cause for what her sister believed in, she still grabbed that mantle for her own, just for she could honor her sister's legacy. And that's kind of what really makes Shinobu's character compelling, is because she basically states that the only reason why she looks like she's always smiling, which gives this very ominous, mysterious look to her, is because her sister really loved the smile that she gave. Her sister really loved the facial expression she always showed. She was always smiling, there was always happiness, and most likely in the past, before the sister did die, Shinobu probably was always smiling. She probably was always happy, but when she witnessed her sister die, the tragedy struck, she probably never really had a true smile anymore. Most likely, most of the smiles we see with her now is not really a smile. She's just putting on a facade to be able to reassure everyone, and she probably has very rare cases of actually smiling anymore, which could explain the other girl, which I'm assuming is the younger sister of Shinobu that we see training with Tanjiro within this episode. She's also someone that gives off a same aura. She's always smiling as well, so I get that same impression that Shinobu has from her. But enough with that, though. Continuing on with what I was talking about, though, Shinobu had to carry on the facade of a smile, but also carry on a legacy that she really didn't believe in. But the only reason why she carried on trying to befriend demons was because she wanted to honor her older sister's life. So because of that, she constantly held on to this goal, and obviously it wasn't getting anywhere, and you could see that from her interactions with some demons we've already personally witnessed, that she does try to uphold that dream from her sister, but she can't really hold back her overall anger towards demons, and we kind of see it slip out sometimes. And that's kind of what Tanjiro pointed out. It's like, you always seem angry even though you're smiling. And so when she looked at him and is like, I'm glad that you carry the same dream as my sister, I could die in peace now, is basically saying that the burden on her shoulders has been removed. She no longer has the burden of having to fake who she really is. She doesn't need to hide her anger, her animosity towards demons. She can actually do what she wants to do, because at the very least, Tanjiro will be able to carry on her sister's legacy, and so her sister would not have died in vain. She will at the very least be able to maybe see Tanjiro achieve what her sister wanted. So that's the point here, is that it's a very interesting moment of the episode to give a lot of development and characterization for Shinobu and who she really is and what she actually fights for. And also, from a little bit of a description from her, she states that most of the Hashiras, or actually all the Hashiras, definitely are probably in a very like mind as her. For instance, hating demons because of what has happened, which confirms what I talked about in my previous episode reviews, is that most demon slayers, at least mainly the Hashiras, I highly doubt they're there because they just want to be demon slayers. They probably are a demon slayer because of tragedy from their family or friends, or they were born into the family line, which most likely Shinobu, that's what happened with her. She was born into the family line, but then her sister died, and that caused her really to want to be an incredible demon slayer. So I can definitely see here what's going on, is that all the Hashiras definitely do have a past, and she states that most of the Hashiras will fall in line and not do anything to Tanjiro, but even then, I doubt that, because you have it to where Tanjiro was able to detect her anger despite her trying to hide it. So there's a likely possibility the other demon slayers are probably having a lot of anger as well, and that they could have their own emotions that they really can't keep in check after seeing an unexpected event like Nezuko being a demon that is able to actually not eat humans. So there's just a lot of variables up in the air, like we don't really know what's going to happen, and I am really looking forward to it. So okay, enough with that. Let's talk about the training. So overall, the training for this episode, it's what I kind of expected, with the characters being out of commission, you know, Zen, Inosuke, and Tanjiro. It made sense for them to get some form of training, because they're not going to really be able to do any Demon Slayer work for a while, so they need to kind of recuperate, but also kind of figure out what they could do to tackle the upcoming demons that are going to probably be a lot harder than the ones they fought on the mountain. And Tanjiro goes through his own training. He learns that he needs to master the breathing technique to be able to do it 24 hours a day. And from what we've already firsthand witnessed from the story, is that Tanjiro being able to maintain his breathing technique is incredibly hard. I mean, he even talks about within this episode of how grueling it is to just keep it up for a few moments, let alone keeping it up for hours on end to days on end. It just sounds like something ridiculous, and it's stated that all the Hashiras pretty much have mastered this and they're able to do it, which really just shows what level they're really on. They're always at this incredible sense of self to where they're able to do incredible feats, like strength of like a demon. That explains kind of why what we saw from the Hashiras and why they're able to do so much damage to demons was because they have mastered these breathing techniques to not really worry at all. And that's kind of the point here, is that Tanjiro, if he wants to be able to be on the realm of their strength, he needs to master his breathing technique that he used against his fight a couple episodes back. He needs to be able to do that for long periods of time without really passing out and without being able to move for long periods. I mean, I highly doubt the repercussion is probably ever going to disappear, but it would still be good if he's able to maintain that breathing technique for, let's say, a full day, and then he's out of commission. Now, that would definitely be something that would really help him if he's able to actually just extend the duration a lot longer, which is just going to come down to endurance, time, and effort to really lengthen that time. He needs to strengthen his lungs, which he even talks about. And so there's a lot of training that is presented within this episode for he can get stronger, and so it's a whole new realm of possibility for him. Now, speaking of the other characters, we have Inosuke and we have Zen. They also go for their own training, but they don't go to the same level as Tanjiro within this episode because they kind of give up. And it kind of makes sense when you think about their characters and kind of where they're at right now in terms of the story. Zen, it makes sense why he gave up, because he couldn't best a girl in front of him and really show off and all that. And we know how Zen is as a person. We clearly see that within this episode with a whole comedy skit with him. So we know that he would get very discouraged if he wasn't able to beat this girl after days on days. He would probably just give up and just go and sulk back in, the infirmary. And Inosuke, we already know him as well. There's two reasons why he would give up. Number one, he doesn't like to lose. That's a big thing. And if he was constantly losing, he might just ponder and think about it for a bit and then come back at it again. But also, we got to look at the mental damage he sustained in his fight. As I already talked about, is that even though it's even clearly stated within this episode that Zen is obviously the most damaged, I still disagree. Inosuke's damage stretches very, very far, because even if his physical body's a-okay and his voice will recover, the mental damage is something that doesn't just heal with time. Well, time does heal it, but it's not something that even time can heal at some points, because if someone sticks to it and they can never overcome it, then it'll just be with them for the rest of their life. And so Inosuke, honestly, he has taken a lot more damage, and because of his mental state thinking he's very weak, he can't do anything, just going up against an opponent that he can't defeat now, a girl at that, probably really discourages him to where he realizes, man, I am really weak, I can't even beat this girl. So that's the point here, is that Inosuke, it probably even wounded him more than he already was, just doing that training session, just seeing he couldn't beat that girl. So Inosuke, he has a long road ahead of him, and I wonder how he's going to be able to get out of it. There was one silver lining, though. The whole argument between Inosuke and Zen within this episode really showed that the old Inosuke isn't gone. He just needs to get livened up to really get those emotions worked up, which kind of happened within this episode. So I am looking forward to seeing him overcome it, but it's probably going to have to be the entire cast really helping him out to pull him out of the state of depression he's currently in. So another thing to get into, I guess let's talk about the body, how Zen's body is actually recovering. So it's stated that Zen's body will make a full recovery, and he will not have any side effects as long as he takes the medicine. We can clearly see that there is a lot of marks and stuff on his hand. We see it briefly within the episode. So he does have some skin marks, bruises, etc. And I do wonder if that's going to disappear or if that will permanently be there. But overall, though, he is making a recovery, and it is stated he will regain what he once was, so that means that he might regain his limb length and all that to where he can fight, so it is really good news overall. So yeah, I think that's pretty much about it. It's a good episode of Demon Slayer, a lot of development, a lot of characterization. I am looking forward to seeing how Tanjiro improves upon himself and gets, his breathing technique under control. I'm interested in what's going on with Shinobu and why there was some ominous death flags, but like I said, we'll find out. I love you guys. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Stay safe, stay healthy. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. And with that, Chibi out.